Good news can often get overlooked or buried by the negative in our everyday lives. So let's change that. I'm Adriana.
And I'm Wyatt.
We're just two ordinary people without any special qualifications or anything trying to navigate life. We invite you to join us as we share wholesome stories, news articles of hope, and ideas about how we can all make the world just a little bit brighter. We are Uplifting Positive Stories. Welcome back to another episode of Uplifting Positive Stories. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
And thank you for your patience to those regular visitors who had to wait a couple weeks for this new episode. For those who maybe aren't aware, we have, for the time being at least, I've switched to a bi-weekly schedule. So appreciate your patience with that. And if you're new, well, then you don't notice a difference here. And then welcome. It's bi-weekly for now.
Well, I hope it's going to be worth the wait. I got some really great stories here. They're a little bit of cheer-jerkers, in my opinion. There are some really good, wholesome stories here. So we're just going to jump right in.
Whoa, just like that?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
I'm eager. It's a good story. It's so sweet.
She's very eager.
I am. So this first one here comes from Best of Redditor Updates. So, I mean, there you go. Like, it's Best of Redditor Updates.
We haven't had one of those on here in a while.
True. It was originally posted to Off My Chest, which is basically like a true off my chest kind of thing.
Sort of like a confession.
Confession. And the title is, I keep meeting my birth mom, but she doesn't know it's me. She had me when she was 14. And I, 24 male, was given up for adoption. My parents told me about her growing up. I still have the letter she wrote me that she asked if they could give to me if they wanted. It's crazy reading it sometimes and knowing it was a literal child who wrote it, saying she's sorry she can't be a mommy, but she hopes I'm happy. She was open to having contact, but we moved from my dad's job when I was 11, and then it seemed impossible to find her. But luckily, I did. She's working at this small restaurant, and I keep going, but she doesn't know it's me. We talk sometimes, and she seems like a nice lady. Sometimes when she says something like, "Do you want a refill, honey?" or uses another term like that, I want to tell her. I don't know why it makes me nervous. We talk sometimes and she seems really genuine. If it's not super busy, she's more open to talking about random stuff. I literally drive 2 hours to come eat at this place just to see her. And it's like she knows me already because I'm there once or two times a week for the past 3 months. So she always says hi with a big smile. But man, if only she knew. So that's the first post.
That's crazy.
I know. Yeah.
I'm not surprised. I mean, we've talked about working in retail and customer service that you get to know your regulars pretty well, especially if they're nice. And it sounds, I imagine she's being nice to her.
Yeah,
because that'd be weird if she's adversarial.
Yeah.
Unless you got pent up rage, but I don't think that's the case.
No, I don't. And it sounds, I mean, it's super mature for a 24-year-old to recognize 14. That's a kid, and that's how old his mom was when she gave him up for adoption.
Was this a he?
It's a he.
Oh.
And when his mom gave him up for adoption, she was 14. And so for him to read that letter and to recognize, like, man, that's for a 14-year-old to have to make that decision and to have to write that kind of a letter. Like, I can't imagine. So to have that empathy for her and not that anger, because some people would have anger. So, yeah, I just think that's really, really cool. But should we go on to the first update?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I won't keep you.
So this update comes 5 days later, and it says, well, I did it. I told her. And yeah, it was pretty heavy. My heart was even beating fast. I kept trying to think how to tell her. Many of the comments in my last post here mentioned writing her a letter, just how she wrote a letter for me. Originally, that was the plan, but for me, it felt like I needed to say it. Oh, really quick, I want to say thanks to everyone for their love and support. Mostly to all the birth parents out there who shared their stories with me. That's what really helped push me to have the courage to confront her. It meant so much, so thanks. Everything happened day before yesterday, by the way. I did wait for her to be done with her shift, and that was when they were closing the restaurant already. And I waited in the parking lot. We said hi when she saw me at first, but then I told her there was something serious that she needed to know. I first told her sorry for keeping it from her for this long. She didn't react until I actually pulled out her letter, and she started bawling from there. Like, screaming and crying at the same time, and didn't even have time to finish. I didn't even have time to finish the whole "I'm your son" speech. She just saw it and knew. It was crazy. Next thing I know, she's hugging me instantly, but then she pulled back and asked if it's okay to hug me. Of course it is, and we're just there hugging and crying in the parking lot. It hit her hard, though. Her legs gave out for a second, so I had to actually hold her up while she was still hugging me for a minute. What really got me was her saying to me, "Look how big you got." Also, hearing her cry made me cry too. She went back to open the restaurant up. She wouldn't take no for an answer. We had coffee, ate a slice of their pie inside, and talked. So many stuff we talked about. She told me the second time I came to the restaurant, she got a feeling, but for her, it was hard to believe it was me. So that feeling that she had was pushed way down. Because she told me for years after I was adopted, she saw kids that would be my age and used to think they were me. Then she would be crying in public. It messed with her mind a lot and made her depressed, so she didn't want to do the same when she saw me, getting her hopes up like that. She says I look so much like my biological dad when he was younger, though. We talked about him, too. They stayed in contact with each other in case I ever reached out to one of them, so it would be easier to contact the other. I didn't have hope about finding my biological dad since he was never mentioned, so I'm glad they both planned for this future scenario. She told me about how they wanted to keep me, especially my biological dad. He didn't want me to be adopted, but he knew they had to because they were just kids. It took him a long time to get past it after I was born, she told me. That's why he didn't leave anything, because he didn't want to believe he might not see me again. We talked for hours till almost 2 in the morning. They closed at 11. She just wanted to know everything about me, but her main thing was, am I happy? Were my parents good to me? Did I have a happy childhood? And I did. I told her thank you for helping to give me this life. We both cried again. She cried the most. Everything was very emotional for her. Sometimes she would look really happy, but then get sad again. After my 18th birthday, she was hoping I would find her. That's why she stayed in the same city. But since I didn't, she's always thought that maybe I resented her, wasn't told I'm adopted, or maybe had decided it was better not to have her around. It made me feel bad for not telling her sooner. She told me it's not my fault and I did right going at my own pace. Honestly, she's so sweet. The way she kept looking at me with the biggest smile, it made me emotional sometimes. Makes you think, how can someone who's been a total stranger your whole life look at you with so much love? It's wild. We learned so much about each other. She asked me if we could have dinner soon to keep talking, and if at some point in the future, if I'm interested, to come over to her house so I can meet her husband. That all sounded really great. We exchanged numbers. After I left, she sent a text telling me thank you for giving her this gift that she didn't know would ever come. My girlfriend came over and she hugged me while I cried. I wasn't sad, by the way. These were happy tears. Everything went better than I expected. There was still emotionally heavy stuff, but I'm still glad that we got to open up to each other.
Dang.
Yeah, and there's another update, too.
I don't know how you add more to that.
I know, right?
I don't have anything to add. That's just wow. Just taking it in. I just let the story speak for itself. I don't think I have much to add there.
It's just super wholesome all around.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure.
All right, on to the next update. Here we go. It gets even more wholesome. Okay, 17 days later. Lots of you asked to let you know how it goes meeting my biological dad, and to say it was emotional is an understatement. I've been feeling so many things since this all happened. We met a few days ago. It was originally supposed to be almost 2 weeks ago, but crap kept coming up. Work, and then I got sick, not COVID, for days. But we made it happen. To be honest, this was more nervous for me because I didn't know anything about him. With my bio mom, it was different because I watched her from afar and got to know her a little bit before it came out. I asked my bio mom if she could be there too, just because she knows him better, so it was the two of us waiting for him at the park. He was already crying before we even got to him. This guy is strong, too. He pulled me in for the biggest bear hug and was crying. He told me he wants me to know that they love me so much and he loves me. I lost count how many times he'd come back in for one more hug. This definitely got to him. And he kept saying thank you, God, a few times. Looking at my face, the feelings, man, the feelings. We had so many of them. Hearing him tell me how much they love me even back then. It meant so much for me to hear that, and not gonna lie, that had me holding him tight too. I'm sure everyone at the park thought it was weird seeing 3 crying people, lol. My bio dad said he cried so many times just driving over there, he didn't think he had any more tears left until he saw us. When we were all sitting down, it hit me that my bio mom was not lying when she said we look alike. Obviously, he's older, but still, holy crap, the similarities. He brought gifts too, which was a surprise. It was really nice. He told me I don't have to keep them if I don't want it, but he felt weird not coming with anything, and he's wanted to give me this for a long time. One was a teddy bear holding a picture frame of him at the hospital holding me. He was 15 years old. It's still crazy to realize that. And then the other thing was a journal. The journal thing was stuff he said he started writing to me years after I was adopted.
Aww.
He was in therapy, and that helped him to cope, thinking he would give them to me one day. That's so sad.
You okay?
Yeah. His way of still feeling connected to me. I haven't read everything yet, but some of the pages were his thoughts and like if he's talking to me. How he felt when they found out she was pregnant, then the adoption, everything going on in his mind when he first got to hold me as a baby. I didn't even know he was at the hospital too. It was not what I was expecting. It really got me. I read some more of what he wrote last night that really got me crying. I'm sad to think how much this affected them emotionally for years. Also think it's pretty sweet he wanted to write this for me. We talked about his own life, which was pretty hard, his struggles with home life and the feelings he had about giving me up, and then he wanted to know everything about me. Basically the same questions my bio mom had. I made sure they knew they made the right decision because my life was pretty great. He looked like he wanted to cry, but when he knew that because that's all they hoped for, and it was something he always wondered about for years. My bio mom left a little bit later when we were more comfortable so we could talk more in private once it didn't feel too awkward between us. From there, he told me stories about how he met my bio mom. Sometimes he'd point out stuff he noticed about me that reminds him of her or me and him having similar likes. Example, I love eating mangoes. I can eat them all day, and that's what I bought when we bought snacks at the park.
This is where he lost me in the story. Just kidding.
What?
Mangoes. Yeah, we're
not
not
huge
mango
mango
lovers,
people.
but
He told me my bio mom was obsessed with mangoes before she even got pregnant. While pregnant, she craved it even more. Just cool info to know, even if it's random stuff, lol. It's still stuff we have in common, and we both have lots. Both like hiking, playing pool. He was a swimmer in college, and I was on the swim team in high school. Both love rock music, especially 90s. My bio dad was really open about sharing everything. Like, he really was getting ready for this meeting. He hoped it would happen, and he prayed every day to see me again because he had so many things he wanted to tell me. Overall, really good first meeting. I'm glad how it went. He's open to the idea of meeting my parents. After I told them about all this, they definitely wanted to meet my bio parents again, if I'm comfortable with that. Obviously, if my bio parents are too. Let's see what happens. I don't know how it's going to feel for me. They've met each other before I was even born, but I never had them at the same place, so that'll be interesting, lol. Me and my parents met up yesterday to have breakfast so I could tell them everything. My mom was so happy how it went. She actually cried too when I told her about both of their reactions. My dad was proud because he knew how hard it was the months after finding my bio mom and not really wanting to make contact yet. I'm really happy to have their support because it's hard not to feel guilty about wanting to know more about my bio parents. They gave me a really good life, so for a while it's felt like maybe to them I'm showing them that that wasn't good enough for me, and I'd rather have my bio parents. But they told me many times they want me to do this for me, and they know how much I love them, and I really do. Finding them and meeting them was hard, but it was so worth it to me. And seeing their reactions made it feel even more worth it. Still can't believe it sometimes. I'm just realizing this has turned into a long post. My bad, haha. No, it's a good story. Writing this has been therapeutic, to be honest. That was my comment, by the way. He didn't write that. Writing this has been therapeutic, to be honest. Kind of thinking back to everything that's happened, feeling really grateful. Again, want to say thank you to everyone who has been on this journey with me. Everyone who sent me their own stories, their love, their encouragement. You guys have beautiful hearts, and I'm happy I had somewhere to talk about all this and receive so much love back. Just want to say to all the adopted kids out there, I wish you guys luck and that you find what you're looking for. It's not easy at all. I feel fortunate that things didn't go badly or my bio parents aren't bad people. And to all the birth parents out there who made the sacrifice, thank you. It's because of you that there are kids out there like me who got to have a great life with loving parents. Yeah.
Wow. Well, first of all, very fortunate they had a very positive
Yeah, that's about as positive as it gets.
Because I'm willing to bet that most situations like that aren't nearly as positive.
Yeah, true.
Not that they all aren't, but
No.
that seems... I don't know how it could go much better than that.
Yeah, that's adorable. Like the journal of messages that he wrote to, like in therapy, like to his son, not knowing if he'd ever. That's so freaking wholesome.
Do you need a tissue?
No, I'm okay, but it got me a little teared up. Like I said, these are a bit of tearjerker stories, but that's so sweet. What a cool idea. That's like very sweet and a good way to like deal with those emotions too for the dad. You know, having to give him up, only being 15 years old. Yeah. What a good idea from the therapist to like write those letters, to be able to say those feelings and emotions, you know, like really cool. So.
Yeah. I'm glad that no one's living with regret in this situation, you know, but it's complicated emotions, you know,
it is
in that situation and everything.
And for the parents that adopted him too, to be so open and with it and be
that's the other thing,
easygoing and just supportive.
This has been non-Hollywood movie-esque in terms of like, you know, the two families warring and like
right.
I feel like they're being replaced or whatever. No, everyone's handling this with like the utmost maturity.
Yeah.
But also understandable human emotions and such.
Right.
You know, like,
and acknowledging that, but also like still being supportive and like that's just so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy. That's such a cool story. So yeah, you can see why it made it on Best of Redditor Updates. It's quite wholesome. So, yeah. Should we move on to the next story?
Yeah, are they all gonna be like that?
I mean, they're all pretty sweet. Not quite as like, whoa, is that one I would say, but they're all sweet in their own ways. All right. This next one here comes from the subreddit Random Acts of Kindness. And the title is The Power of a Strawberry-Filled Chocolate Even Now. Here we go.
Sounds good.
I know, doesn't that
I'm
sound
a little
yummy?
hungry right now.
That sounds good. About 12 years ago, I was at a children's hospital. I was born with a heart defect, and I had to go in for a heart catheterization. The plan was a 3-day stay, day with tests, day of the procedure, day of observation. While walking between tests on the first day, I spotted a poster for a chocolatier workshop where you could make your own filled chocolate. However, this workshop was during my procedure, so I couldn't attend. Being 12 and liking food/chocolate, I was not pleased. The day of the procedure comes, and it does not go well. I end up in the ICU and then medium care. A few days later, I'm feeding much better, and my mom tells me to follow her. We walk back to the first room where I stayed the day of testing. Apparently, a girl heard me complaining about not getting to make chocolate, so she made one specifically for me. And when I didn't return for my procedure, she even had the nurse store it in a fridge. Strawberry-filled milk chocolate never tasted sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that sweet?
It is sweet.
I thought that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Little girl having empathy for another little kid in the hospital. I mean, that's so sweet.
We talked about before on this podcast. Kids are capable of being horrible, but they're also capable of being so sweet
So
and
thoughtful.
caring and kind.
That she,
like to
in
believe
this chocolatier workshop, took her time to make a second one just for her. Like, that's so cute.
I like to believe that their default is just being super empathetic and kind.
It's true.
And caring. That's the default.
Yeah, that is. It does seem like the default. Super sweet. So, yeah. Another little one is like, oh. Okay. This one's more of a kind of like what? Kind of wholesome, kind of funny one. Here we go. Because I gotta get away from the tear jerkers. All right, here we go.
I thought that was the theme, was tear jerking.
I know, but that got hit in the feels. This one hits in the feels of like, oh.
I see.
Here we go. Ready? This one is to the subreddit Benign Existence, and it is titled, I Gave Some Random Kids Slices of Bread. Here we go. Yesterday, my doorbell rang. It was these two boys that looked to be around 9 years old. I don't know these kids. They asked me, do you have any hot dogs? I said no. Then they asked, do you have any corn? Again, I said no, as I'm getting more confused. Then they asked, do you have any bread? I said, sure, let me go get it. I brought a new loaf of bread out to them and I asked, is this for a cookout or something? And one of the boys said, no, we're just hungry. I got a little concerned and I asked them, do you guys have food at your house? I wanted to give them something more substantial to eat if they didn't have access to food. They said, no, we're just far away from our house and our scooter batteries are dead and we're hungry.
Do you need a ride home? Or to call your parents? Like,
they apparently live in the neighborhood next to mine. I went to give them the whole loaf, but they said they just wanted a couple slices each, so that's what I gave them. They thanked me, said the bread tasted good, and that no one else that they asked would give them any food. And that was it. Kids are funny, but it was kind of a nice little interaction.
Huh.
I thought that was really cute. These two little 9-year-olds, do you have any hot dogs? I just thought that was so sweet. You'd be like, what? No, we're just far from home and we're hungry. I don't know. I just thought that was really sweet.
Reminds me of last winter when I can't remember if I've told this story
Yeah,
in the
you
podcast.
have.
I'll tell it again, though, for new
It's so
people,
cute.
where it was in the wintertime. It was a funny story that precedes it, but I'll leave that part out for now for another time. But these kids were knocking on the door and they opened it. They had to be like 6 or 7 or something. They were young. They were young. And it was like super dark outside. It was nighttime. It had just snowed like that day or night before or something. I hadn't gotten to shoveling yet. And they was like, excuse me, can we shovel your walkway?
Yeah.
And I was like, sure. They're like, and they're just kind of like staring at me. I'm like, why? They're like, well, it'd be nice if you could pay us. I'm like, sure. Yeah. It's like, we want to buy Christmas presents.
Yeah.
know?
And it was cute. They just shoveled like a few steps and then Wyatt gave them a 20. And
Watch them. They were terrible. They got it done, but like they accomplished the task.
Yeah, they tried.
But their process was awful. it was something
took
to
them,
watch.
like,
Bless
5,
their
10
little
minutes.
hearts. They tried. They did their best. They got the job done. Took a bit, and they were so happy. And they asked for like $10, and I gave them like a 20, I think.
yeah, they were. We could hear them through the window walking away, like, "Whoa, we got a 20!"
Yeah.
Like it was so.
It was just funny, but this reminds me of that. Obviously, a very different story, but this idea of like knocking on the door, like asking,
Little
like
kids asking
without giving a full explanation of like without
what's going on.
And
Yeah.
just like, hey, go do this. Like, okay.
It was so
And?
cute. It was so cute. They were adorable. All right, on to our news article for today. So this one is from opb.org, and it is titled, Trail Angels Create Magical Moments for Hikers on the Pacific Crest Trail. So this trail, I actually didn't know about this trail. It stretches all the way from Mexico to Canada.
Oh, wow.
It's 2,700 miles.
Wow, that makes Superior Hiking Trail look like nothing.
Right? And so hikers try to push themselves to the limit to do the whole thing.
Dang.
Yeah. So trail magic, by definition, is like stumbling onto a treasure chest in the middle of nowhere. The term generally refers to all the beautiful moments that happen on the trail right when they're needed. So a man named Harold Leeson, it has been a so-called trail angel since 2016 when his son tackled the Pacific Crest Trail and did the hike trail. And he had brought home stories of this trail magic that he encountered along the way. People doing nice things, leaving nice little things for people to find as they hike. So Harold and his wife had the idea of trying to do this themselves and create little trail stops. So they drive several hours up to Charlton Lake between Diamond Peak and South Sister, and they serve calorie-rich snacks like hot dogs, chips, cookies, and even ice cream to hikers that are trying to hike the trail. So, for example, a guy named Kyle Hallsgrove was traveling from London just to hike this trail, and he said, I hadn't spoken to anyone for 48 hours before I got here. Not only have you got a cold drink and a hot dog, you've got some company for a couple of hours, and that really makes a difference to your mindset. It's definitely appreciated. So Harold and his wife just set up camp with their little grill and their ice and their cooler, and they hand out drinks and hot dogs to people that pass by and get to talk with them and stuff and get to know them as they pass by. And to quote from Harold, he says, I love doing it just to see the smiles on their faces. The fact that they could be having a bad day and somebody cares about them and is supporting them, it keeps them going down the road a little farther.
It's giving, like, you know, people who are spectate marathons
Yeah.
and, like, you know,
Pass out like Gatorade and stuff. Yeah.
That's fun and helpful.
Yeah, a lot of people do it. A lot of people pass out things, or like they'll hand out like bananas and stuff like that to people as they pass by. It's just little things like that, and it's just getting that little boost of support, because some people sometimes even underestimate their abilities or overestimate their abilities, and they'll be like, I could do that, and then they start doing, they're like, oh man, I don't know if I actually can. And so having that little boost from somebody and giving them like a nice cold drink or a hot dog or nutrient rich things that they can have if they didn't pack enough or whatever, can give them that little boost just to keep going and be like, okay, maybe I can actually do this, you know? So
No, it's true.
I thought that was cool. But I'm wondering if this is like more of a common thing than I was aware of. I had never heard of trail magic before, but it sounds like it's a thing on other trails too that people do, that they just like will station themselves on hiking trails and if they have free time and just like hand out like, I don't know, like protein bars and stuff like that to people that are passing by just to give them a little boost. I'm like, that's really cool. Especially if you're like retired or something. I thought that was a really cool idea.
I probably have to hike more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We do like hiking. It's just been busy. We haven't been able to.
Granted, we've always like hiked like locally,
This
like
year.
you do the route and then you go home, not like a camping
Yeah,
hiking.
not like
That's a whole different
2,700
experience.
miles. That's like insane. That's crazy. I had no idea that was a thing. That's super crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, super cool though.
That'd be a crazy experience though.
Right? And like going from Mexico to Canada. Like imagine all the different climate zones you'd be going through and stuff too throughout the whole thing. You'd have to pack pretty.
Including all your legal documents too.
Right, true. Yeah, so pretty cool. But I thought that was a really wholesome thing to do with their free time. So
Oh yeah,
cool.
for sure.
Very sweet. So yeah, with that, we will end today's podcast episode. Tune in a couple weeks here. We got another episode called Going the Extra Mile. So we got people going above and beyond again, and it's going to be really, really cool.
But are they going the extra 2,000 some
700 miles?
Yeah.
You have to tune in to find out. And if you have any positive stories, please, please, please send them to us. You can either email them to us at upliftingpositivestories@gmail.com, or you can actually post them on our subreddit, which is Uplift Positive Stories. So either way, that would be awesome.
And if you're listening and joining the show, please leave us a review, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment and subscribe.
That'd be awesome. Thanks so much for joining, and we hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your week.
And stay positive.